I've had many experiences with rabbits over many years of varying breeds, colors, shapes, sizes of these adorable, amazing creatures. There was one experience that just shook me. It took so long to resolve. And honestly, it was as a result of what someone else did wrong. Threw me into months of hard work, day in and day out, just to get rid of the tiniest little parasite. And I want to tell you that story and give you some solutions and what worked for me in this video. Before I start, let me say this. Getting rid of fleas on rabbits, it's a nightmare. This is an important topic because rabbits are extremely sensitive animals. They're sensitive to medications, topical treatments, sprays, powders, shampoos, even some vaccinations. If you've spent time in rabbit communities with responsible, experienced caretakers, you already know this. You also know that rabbits don't always tolerate surgeries or treatments the way other animals might. The good news is that veterinary science has improved a bit, and many veterinarians today are much more aware of how fragile domesticated rabbits really are. That said, we have a long way to go. Many rabbit-savvy veterinarians now share information about gentler, more natural approaches, and that's encouraging because for me personally, safety always comes first. I refuse to use my rabbits as test subjects for new medications, new processes, trends, or treatments that haven't been proven safe over very long periods of time. Rabbits thrive when their care stays as close to nature as possible. Their systems demand that we approach problems slowly, cautiously, and thoughtfully. When it comes to fleas, how you handle that matters a lot. There are varying opinions out there, and in the rabbit world, credible information isn't always easy to find. Not everyone wants to read long scientific papers or peer-reviewed studies, but I do. I'm a geek like that, and I'm happy to share what I've learned, both through research and real-world experience. As I always say, if your rabbit is sick or injured, please take him to the veterinarian, ideally one with direct, long-term experience treating domesticated rabbits. Nothing I share here replaces professional veterinary care or advice. My goal is to help you make informed, thoughtful decisions for your rabbit. Let's dive deeper into the dreaded topic of fleas. I've always allowed my rabbits outdoor playtime. For many years, I never saw a single flea, not once. Even when the "don't ever take your rabbits outside again" trend began, I still maintained a clean yard and had many safe precautions in place, which is still true today. My rabbits play outside because they're rabbits, and I've never seen them happier than during outdoor playtime. At least that was my situation until I bought the house I live in now. I'd spent years making sure there was nothing dangerous in my yard, no toxic plants. It was perfectly maintained for these rabbits. But then me and the Bunnies moved into the house I live in now. I bought it basically with cash, and it had tons of problems, as you can imagine. I didn't realize how severe some of those problems were until I'd lived here a month or two. Shortly after moving in, I noticed some small irritated patches forming on the backs of several rabbits. Unmistakably, fleas. I had never once had a flea on any of my animals. In fact, I was a kid last time I saw a flea. I'd been caring for rabbits for so many years by the time I bought this place, but I was mortified. I'd heard horror stories about this happening. I knew that I had rabbits with short hair, long hair, and a few with an extra dose of fluff. It turns out the previous homeowner had a flea problem that was not disclosed to me, and suddenly I was dealing with something I'd never dealt with before. Fleas in the house. And because my rabbits are in the house, there were fleas on my rabbits. Fortunately, the yard wasn't a problem. But inside, that was a problem. I had studied parasites in vet assistant courses I'd taken. I had some knowledge, but dealing with them firsthand in real time, that was different. Here's what you need to know about fleas. Fleas are blood-feeding parasites. An adult flea can consume up to 15 times its body weight in blood every single day. They reproduce quickly and efficiently, which is why flea problems seem to disappear, but in no time at all, they suddenly come back. The real issue isn't the fleas you see on your rabbit. It's the flea life cycle. Flea eggs fall into carpets, floor cracks, corners, and baseboards. You don't see them. They sit there, protected. They just wait. Even if you remove every adult flea from your rabbit, unhatched fleas can survive for weeks or even months in a pupa state. They're incredibly difficult to kill and could take a long time to completely eliminate. A lot of people don't know this, but a scientific study showed that air movement can trigger flea pupa to hatch. Here's how that life cycle happens. You remove every flea from your rabbit. You treat and clean the room aggressively. You wait. You bring your rabbit back. Weeks later, you vacuum like normal, and suddenly you have fleas again. It's because the air from the vacuum was enough to wake up a new generation of these parasites. And just like that, you have the same problem all over again. A new cycle. It's incredibly frustrating. Anyone who's dealt with fleas understands this. Veterinarians now know that killing fleas on the animal is key because adult fleas need blood to survive. That makes sense. But rabbits are not dogs, and they're not cats. Rabbits do not respond to medications the same way other animals do. You might choose to use topical flea treatments that are considered safe for rabbits, such as Advantage or Revolution. Many people do, and that's your choice. I do not. I've personally seen rabbits react very harshly to flea treatments, even those that are labeled safe. The skin of a rabbit is thin and it's fragile. Their systems are delicate, and many rabbits live with bonded partners who groom them constantly. So putting topical medication on them is not safe for their partner. A flea treatment which is applied behind one of the rabbit's ears will most surely end up in the mouth of their bonded partner. That's a risk I'm not willing to take. For me, the flea comb method is safer and it's just as effective. It removes them quickly and it kills them. Let me show you what that looks like. Fleas typically gather around the back of the head, the neck, the shoulders, and the base of the ears. You may notice that small, bald, irritated spots show up where fleas repeatedly feed, along with little black specks in your rabbit's fur. That's flea dirt. Use the flea comb gently. Lay it flat against the fur and let it slide through. Never force it. Always brush the rabbit's fur out first so there are no tangles. Rabbit's skin tears very easily, and carelessness can cause serious injury. Once fleas are on the comb, immediately place them in the water, which you've already mixed with dish soap. I also add a bit of household cleaner to mine. This method ensures that fleas die almost instantly, and also that they don't jump back out. After combing the rabbit out, I soak the flea comb in that solution, then rinse it with very hot water and let it dry. Of course, the rabbit gets a treat for being patient. When done correctly, this process is calm, safe, and effective. I do not recommend dusting rabbits with diatomaceous earth or any other thing, even if it's food grade. Yes, it can kill fleas, but it can also be inhaled, ingested, and get into the eyes and lungs of your animal. I've seen videos of people coating rabbits in powder, and they're deeply disturbing. Rabbits are fragile prey animals. When we bring them into our home, we make a silent agreement to protect them. If something unfortunate happens, like fleas, it's our responsibility to handle it carefully and humanely. Years ago, when this flea incident happened with my rabbits, it only took me about 15 minutes per rabbit to remove fleas safely with a comb. That's time well spent. To summarize, number 1, rabbits can get fleas, even in clean homes. Fleas can come in on people's shoes, or like me, you can buy a home and they're just there and no one told you about it before you moved in. Number 2, fleas must be removed from the rabbit and addressed in the environment. Number 3, flea combing is safe and effective when done gently and consistently. Number 4, environmental treatment must be thorough and repeated. And number 5, if infestation is severe or wounds are present, seek veterinary care. When it comes to these animals, make sure your process is gentle and slow and kind to the animal. That nightmare experience was about 5 years ago, and I've never again seen a flea. Not in my house, not in the yard, not anywhere around here. So my process was effective and lasted all this time. I'm hoping never to pick up a flea problem from someone else again or for any reason. Not a fun thing to deal with. I'd love to hear your comments about what you've done. One thing that I did tag on the end of the video when I was talking is the flea trap, the Victor flea traps, and I'm sure there are other brands by now. I've not had to deal with it in so many years that I I haven't kept track of the latest and greatest, but I will say those flea traps saved me. They really helped clean up the environment, and I still had to move rabbits out of rooms, treat those rooms, wait a long time to put them back, and just go through this whole cycle of room by room, making sure there was not one single flea, no eggs, no larvae, pupa, nothing left. And again, 5 years later, we're good. Remember, be kind to animals because kindness matters.